I've been careful about what I say about J-Lo. You know what I mean? Because, like, not for nothing, if you're talking shit, she ain't hurting nobody except Ben Affleck. She ain't hurting nobody. So, in the grand scheme of things, I think there's plenty to critique, but is there, like, real damage being done? I don't know that that's the case. So, yeah, I'd still smash. And if the opportunity...
unless you're trying to fuck right now. That was very...
If the opportunity presents itself, I don't want anything in my way.
Yeah, it's like, because I don't think it's going to happen, but were I to get to that position, I would really hate myself because I couldn't do it because of some shit I said on a fucking podcast.
Brother, you would be remiss.
I finally got myself in a position. And now, especially this is some shit I said on Brandon Jamel's show.
Yeah, no.
J-Lo like Stabby's World.
Oh no, J-Lo, please.
It's a rare condition in this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And the loving edition and the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. Welcome, little mamas and Gentiles alike, to another phenomenal episode of My Momma Told Me,
the podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked to prove that crayons were not invented by the Crayola Company. They were invented centuries before by the Moors. Crayon, Koran, ring any fucking bells, y'all? It was an ancient form of Islamic communication in which they melted down waxes of different colors to talk to each other. Black.
Whoa.
My name is David Boyd.
Black. And stop.
It started strong. It was a little steep at the end.
Yeah, that's okay. You landed that plane fine. You know those flights where you right at the end there's a little bit of a bump and everybody looks at each other, but then you smile because you're like, we made it, we okay.
Yeah, it's like when you come in over water. It's like landing on San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a little bumpy, but we all right. Everybody's
I think
cool.
we did it.
Yeah,
that's fun.
I'm Langston Kerman. And,
Crayon?
And no, it was great. Koran. I saw it. I felt it.
All right.
And I thought you were going to sing the entire song, and I got so nervous.
Oh, I do know it.
Yeah, of course. We all do. Yeah.
No, I can't do the whole one. I went longer than I should have, actually, I think.
No, that's why I got nervous, but also there was a part of me that was really excited that maybe you would take this all the way to the end. I'm proud of you for making a different choice, but it was enthralling. It was
I'm trying to show some restraint in this. It's hard.
It's hard every day.
Because we just talked about it. When we get really famous off of this and make $1 million, we're not going to be able to say what we think anymore. So enjoy it now.
Yeah, that's true. We've made, frankly, listeners, a lot of mistakes as far as Hollywood building and relationships on this program, and we want you to know. We want you to know we're not unaware of it. Right from the start, we knew we had done terrible damage to our future careers. And while we understand that mistake has happened, we don't know how to change it. But please be kind to us when our inevitable canceling begins.
Yeah, just remember the good times. You know?
Yeah. Don't do that shit y'all did with Io where you pretend like Io wasn't a silly Billy first.
Wait, they turned on Io? I still love Io.
Yeah, well, they got mad at her because, they didn't get mad at her, but she got called out for having talked shit about J-Lo on the very episode or on a podcast while hosting SNL and the musical guest was J-Lo.
Oh,
And so they like dug up some shit where they basically said she had said bad things about J-Lo. And then she had to apologize and say how important J-Lo was, blah, blah, blah. But it's like,
see,
she was a silly Billy, man. Leave her alone.
yeah, and that's how I know I'm going to be all right. You people don't even exist to me outside of the screen. As far as I'm concerned, Olivia lives in my MacBook. It's not real. This is for jokes.
Yeah, I don't feel anything about you because it's not real.
Yeah, and Olivia says, who hasn't talked shit about J-Lo? Not me. I still think I could get in there.
Right. I've been careful.
I bet she doesn't even know what podcasts are. That's how rich she is.
I think she knows now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I bet before she didn't. I bet she was like, yeah, I guess podcasts, whatever. And now she's like, no, I know exactly what podcasts are. And you better not have said nothing about me.
Yeah. So anyways, I love your contribution to the culture, from Fly Girls to Hustlers. All of it truly mesmerizing. You'll always be Jenny from the block to me.
Yeah, Gborie was just telling me, J-Lo, he didn't mind when you said the N-word. He said for him, it sounded natural.
Listen, I think before those towers went down, there were a lot of different rules.
That's why we vote, J-Lo, so we can get back to better times.
And also, I tell them niggas mind their business. So, okay, who's the judge?
That's real. That's real. The sentiment, J-Lo, was real. Now,
the song also.
Sometimes when we're talking, we communicate things maybe not the best. You know, maybe we have a misstep in our words. Maybe we choose the wrong language. It happens to all of us, J-Lo. Mm-hmm. But that sentiment, that feeling that you tapped into in that song with Ja Rule, just know it hit home for us.
Man, I loved that song. I did. Those Ja Rule lady anthems, I just be in the crib in 9th grade just wishing I had a girlfriend.
Yeah. Ja Rule, we do not give enough credit to how much Ja Rule really had it.
Yeah. Just because 50 Cent took it away doesn't mean he didn't have it.
Nah, my man had it for
it was good.
3 years. We were all working under a Ja Rule leadership.
Come on. There's still certain things that you can say that I'm so. If you say, "What would I be without you?" I always feel it.
Dog,
I'll always feel it.
I felt it right now when you said it. A chill.
Come on. And he worked his way up from us thinking he was DMX to being his own person.
Yeah, he was. When Ja first came out, he was like a true, like almost DMX replica. We were scared of him. We were like, oh, Ja Rule's a murderer. He's crazy. And then it turned out,
I get her.
Yeah, he's just a regular dude who just wanted some pussy.
But if you look back, that Can I Get a Verse was intense if you were 12 years old.
He was an intense guy coming out. He was high energy. It was a lot. And then he was like, I'm going to pull this back 40% and I'm going to make a lady sing every hook.
Come on.
And
that would be my move.
Yeah.
I would really, smart. I would take from Heavy D and I would take from Ja Rule if I was in a rap game.
Heavy D was my favorite rapper growing up.
Of course.
He was so cool.
He was great.
Yeah, I thought that dude just was it. And then I think he couldn't quite keep. Yeah, he couldn't. I think he couldn't quite keep up with the aesthetic changes of the culture. Do you know what I mean? That because he started trying to do some weird gangster shit, and that didn't feel like what we wanted from him. You know what I mean? But you also still couldn't be like standing in loose pants and a cane. It like the vibes had changed. You know what I mean?
it is hard to be the sexiest guy in one era and then continue that sexiness. Few can do it. Most people can't. Most people dress like the age they were when they got the most pussy. That like men, that's how that goes.
Yeah, it's the crazy thing about the way we treat Michael Jordan's fashion choices, because he hasn't changed anything. You know what I mean? Where we go like, Michael Jordan, you dress like shit. But it's like, yeah, but in 1994, we all thought that he was the coolest guy on the planet.
Same jeans.
Exact same clothes on.
Yeah.
He hasn't changed. We did.
Yeah.
So we can't say he dresses like shit. We have to say, oh, we sobered up to what the fuck this was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's probably what happened with Heavy D. We were like, oh, it's a fat guy. We didn't know because he was dancing. And that's cool.
We thought that was a muscle man under his jacket. Okay.
Well, I think he was doing a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get older, because you can only be so sexy after 30.
I think so. And I think especially because he was like moving. He wasn't just a fat guy.
He was dancing.
He was dancing. He was giving energy. And I think after a while you get tired and your body can't meet that demand. And I bet as a bigger person that happens faster than for a smaller guy.
I think we have to give our hats off to the fact that he was a fat guy in the Running Man era. One of the most difficult physical. There is not a move set up against fat guys more than the Running Man. This nigga was doing the Running Man?
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Big X the Plug can't do the Running Man. I can't do the Running Man.
Nah. Fuck.
Good guy.
I just pictured you trying to do the Running Man and I didn't like it.
Stop it. I need you to respect me to be able to continue this partnership. One bark. That's what you get. One bark. I'm not messing with you.
What happens after one bark?
The bitch gets out. She has to go outside.
One bark and she's out.
Oh, she didn't hear that.
She's going to tell on me.
Don't call the ASP. What is it? What's the... Whatever, it doesn't matter. Call them.
Yeah, call the dog police and come get them.
Call the dog catcher. Are there still dog catchers?
Yeah, I bet they don't have like big nets and jumpsuits the way that they used to. You know what I mean? Like I bet they're just like men now.
And women.
Yeah, I think they have like the like those cool ones that they use on gators. You know what I mean? Like the animal catchers.
You know what? I actually do know one of my openers used to be animal control. He was telling me about it.
Oh, wow.
Horrific stories.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like a good job.
He said multiple times they would go to we'll get to it after this. He said multiple times they would go to the apartment of like a suicide victim who had a cat, and the cat will start eating you from your legs up if you're hanging there. Quick.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
quick.
I did not even realize that they would have to see dead bodies.
That's right.
It never even crossed my mind that animal control would be walking in on human remains.
I think a lot of times if you have a shitload of animals, you're on the brink anyway.
Yeah, I thought they were definitely dealing with sad people. And I thought, it just seems like the type of job where you love animals, but you don't love them enough that you can't be rough with them. Do you know what I mean? Where like you can't fuck an animal up. Right. And that is a complicated little spot to live in where you're like, no, I'll shoot a dog for sure. But I really like dogs.
Do you think you could fight an animal?
I think if I'm like fighting for my life, for the lives of my kids, yeah, but not just off of like, you know what I mean? I would never just jump.
I'm not saying you're just like walking into a pool hall trying to punch a dog.
No, but like even like I've been on the street before and like somebody's dog gets loose or jumps at me. I've had a dog nip me before and there's never been an instinct in me that was like punch it in the head. Right, I don't like that. Yeah, it feels like punching a child almost.
Right. I don't feel that same way.
Oh, you'll punch the shit out of a dog.
I don't feel like it feels like punching a child. It's a dog.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean they were 1-1. I meant more like 0.51 kind of
Right.
vibes.
I got you.
Yeah. It's more the brain capacity like a child, not the literal I care about this as much as children.
Right. Because I'm not trying to fight a dog because like if I'm gonna fight an animal, I have to go animal mode. And then once you open that up, who knows where that stops?
You gotta fight to kill a dog.
You gotta fight it like an animal. Like you gotta like think like you know what I mean? And then now I'm in that animal zone where I could just gotta go back into this Best Buy.
I've seen how people get attacked by animals, and the way that they'll be like punching full strength into the animal's like ribs and face, and it still just keeps going. There's nothing in it that like feels that pain and slows down. I can't. I don't want to fight that. That's scary as shit.
Where I hate to ask.
Yeah.
Where were you watching this?
I used to watch a lot of When Animals Attack. And,
okay.
And I'll be honest with you, I've only rooted for the animals in shows like that because
I usually root for the animals.
The people had no business there.
Mm-hmm.
Truly no fucking business messing with those creatures of both day and night.
I feel like if you really love animals, leave them alone. Conservation is different, but like otherwise, you really like them. You want them to have a good leave them the fuck alone.
They don't like us. They don't want nothing to do with us.
Dogs like us.
Yeah, but that's
and
because
cats domesticated themselves.
That's because we spent millennia breaking their genetic code. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't like us because they genuinely just like us. They like us because we took wolves and beat their brains until they turned into pugs. And then they're like, well, I can't exist without you. So I like
you. Forced them to inbreed till they got little.
Yeah. We Yakub the fuck out of wolves.
Maybe that's where the story came from.
I think, we've talked about it now more than we should recently, but like, that's what I do genuinely think happens in some form in humanity, right? Is that like, that is what emperors are. It's just people who have been crossbred until they can't lift their arms that well, but have been sort of like elevated to a type of wealth and celebrity and power over others. And so I think that like logically that makes sense that there's some guy who figured he can create a bloodline that will trace back to him forever and elevate him above others. It's not now is that
big ass chins.
Yeah. And maybe that just happened to be a big headed sort of like guy.
No, that's an inbreeding thing.
No, but hear me out. That's maybe he sort of like just started a family and then made them inbreed so that he could keep power.
Oh, right.
And that is the Yakub story. Do you know what I mean? Like that, it's an allegorical story, but it is probably rooted in a big-headed dude who didn't like being black, found a light-skinned chick and made them all inbreed until he made white people. Oh.
I feel like maybe you should just sit there for a little bit. That was big. we gotta give that a wide berth in the space it deserves to let it breathe.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got an email. It doesn't seem crazy to me. It seems it seems more reasonable than maybe people want it to be.
No, I think that was actually as good of an explanation of it that I've ever heard. That doesn't come from a weird place. I think that seems reasonable.
All right, let's read this email. This person asked us to make up a name for them.
Yeah. So we'll go with Haiti.
Haiti.
I was watching that clip of that Haitian guy drinking that water, and then that's why.
Do you think, and this is a conspiracy I have, is that he drank that water like that, hoping to draw attention away from the cats and dogs conversation?
It feels like it has to have been premeditated for some. It was crazy. And listen, I'm not like jug shaming. I drink almost exclusively out of big ass vehicles in my own home. I'm drinking out of pitchers. It's gross. It's like that. It very much felt like I saw it.
You saw yourself.
Yeah, I saw myself in it. Easy. But not in a meeting. It was so funny. Like, it was so funny that it had to have been, that couldn't have been, because that's also, there would be a history, right? There would be like, oh, Papa Dog drinking out the jug again.
Bro, he missed his mouth. He didn't even nail it.
He was in a frenzy.
It'd be one thing if he drank out the jug and we were just like, yeah, but I don't know, they drink out of jugs down there. That's all right. That's not crazy.
That's not how I would have felt. I do it here.
He fucking missed his mouth and spilled it was all over his shirt. He didn't even really get a sip.
He had to know that was going to go off.
That's what I'm saying. That felt like they were like, look, Mr. President, you're going to have to pull one for the country. And he was like, fuck, all right.
Yeah.
All right,
he's like, I got you.
Yeah, and I bet they didn't even tell him like, yo, you got to drink out the jug and it's got to be crazy. I bet they were just like, hey, man, anything you can do to make this viral and not the other conversation, you do it. And he was like, fuck.
And to that end, he's a patriot.
I think it's maybe one of the most patriotic moves I've ever seen in my life.
Because I feel for Haiti, man.
They
what happened to them is truly like egregious.
There's no country on earth that deserves more good press. You know what I mean? Like they cannot afford any bad press.
Well, I mean more just like in the debt that they had to pay for France, just like the way that all went down is like one of the most terrible modern crimes.
But I'm saying and it continues just through the experience of the Haitian people, the earthquakes, the weather, the racist sort of separation between the Dominican Republic and Haiti. The violence that continues against that country is so intense that they don't need cats and dogs added to their problems.
Bro, for real. And also, it's why sometimes they really want you to ease up on that colonialism shit, on hating that shit. But then you look at that shit and you're like, no, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want you to people be wanting you to take it easy on Europe.
Yeah, they want you to, and they do the same thing with gentrification where they go oh, it's not that bad. Look at the beautification of this area. Look at the resources that have been added to this community. Some of this is just preferring, history versus a newness kind of thing. But then you see what the fuck the actual gentrification and colonization does to people's lives. And you're like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, and you're making your own. They're making a bunch of little Haitis. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic. I know that Vallejo is not Haiti, but you know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of thing.
But it's also, these people don't stop existing. So whatever you're doing in adding this beauty does not mean that they, number one, can afford it, and number two, will just die off. They literally...
Yeah, they have to go somewhere.
You're just pushing them into smaller corners and making them more desperate, and subsequently making it so that truly cats and dogs would be the only thing we have left to eat. So how crazy is it for you to take every resource from a place and then be like, they're fucking animals. What's wrong with these people? It's like
drinking out of the jug. Yeah, it's prayers for Haiti, man. They're just awful. But All that to say, that clip still objectively hilarious. Man,
Funniest thing that's happened in years for me.
I watched about 10 times this morning.
It's so funny that my man went for it and missed and then went back to the microphone to finish answering the question.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good, man. I love that.
All right. We got an email from Haiti.
We've got this email from Haitian Jack. Bad guy. Langston and David, I can't believe you're reading this. I love this show and can't wait to see you on tour. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Please make a fake name for me. I think my cousins listen to your show.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, good family.
Yeah.
I hope you're not Haitian or J-Lo fans. Also, we should. I jumped ahead. We should say that this email was titled.
That's a good subject line.
Why big niggas shouldn't marry little Johns. Which, yeah, I assume your family's from Pennsylvania. Call me crazy.
Yeah, you're Philly through and through.
Oh yeah. Please make a fake name for me. I think my cousins listen to your show. Anyways, now for my late grandmother's conspiracy, which is likely to offend at least two of my cousins. So you got fat
there
cousins.
It is. Yeah.
My grandma always said that big men shouldn't marry little women. She said when big men marry petite women, they will have two kids, a big bone daughter built like her dad and a little son.
Whoa. Fuck.
Apparently the two most unwanted body types.
Yeah, I think that's the implication here.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that you don't want a big bone daughter and you don't want a small son. And boy, is that a lot to put on our shoulders to unpack.
My mom said that she once attended a family wedding with her mom, my grandmother, where the groom, a recently retired NFL lineman who was about 6'3", 250 pounds, was marrying a very short woman who was barely 5 foot tall with heels on. My grandmother apparently very loudly questioned this union and predicted the future kid's dimensions. Well, my grandma was right. They did have two kids, and their daughter is very, very tall and thick. And their son clearly takes after mom. My parents are about the same height with my dad, only a few inches taller than my mom, and I always avoided dating anyone over 6'2", so I've never been worried about falling victim to this myself. But I would love to know your thoughts. Have y'all seen these big niggas out here creating little sons?
Oh, man. Well, first and foremost, wow. Thank you, Haiti, for sending this phenomenal email. I don't know.
I feel like if I think about what I've seen in life, I feel like I see the opposite more, where I know people who are big, or even not just big, but like tall, whose parents aren't that tall. And then they'll be like, yeah, my uncles or my grandpa. But I don't feel like I've seen as many huge men making little kids.
You mean little sons specifically?
Little sons. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm struggling to think of examples in my own life of this thick man, big thick man, little lady makes big thick daughter, little son,
right?
Combo. But I don't say that not believing it. Like something in this rings very true to me, even though I personally cannot point to a friend of mine who is that example. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. I mean, Haiti said in the email, it happened.
Yeah. And that That made me laugh. The idea that this grandmother is sitting in the pew, like they're
You know
asking,
they're gonna have a big ass daughter and a little boy.
Is there anyone here who objects to this marriage? And she stands up and she says, "Yes, I do." Your daughter gonna come out big as hell, and your son gonna be little. And they're like, "Grandma, please sit down."
I think also this is from the grandma's from a different time where the dimensions of your kids in that way was more important. I feel like it's probably the best time to be a little man in history.
Historically, I don't know if that's true, because
Really?
although little, I guess, has always stayed, we're not talking about the subjective little in terms of height. We're talking about
I'm
framing
talking
compared to
relative
everybody
to the
else.
group.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I would say this is probably the best time to be a little person.
Yeah, they used to make you work at a circus 100 years ago.
Yeah, you were like left in the woods if you weren't big enough from birth.
Yeah. It was like a survival thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now as, computers are taking our jobs, I think it's fine to be a little man.
Yeah, Short King is frankly a thing that we all know the meaning of and sort of celebrate and shit.
I will say I don't think that's real.
You don't believe in Short Kings?
I think it only exists on the internet.
Meaning you don't think that there are women out here who are choosing short guys over tall guys?
Not really.
Well,
I mean, I think there are women who don't care, but I don't think there's a bunch of taller women who are like, where are my short kings at? I don't think it really exists. I don't really see it reflected in couples just like in the airport or walking down the street or at a bar. You know what I mean? Are you seeing like groups where you're like, oh, look at all these taller women with shorter men? I don't see it reflected in life.
I definitely don't see it.
I think people like to say it on the internet to sound great. I think people say they fuck a lot of stuff they don't fuck on the internet.
That's true. I definitely don't see it in any groups. Like, you're never going to be like the three tall ladies with three little guys, and they all ever. That said, LA is a little weird because this city is built on money and power that's so unearned. And so I think I see a lot of short guys with tall women, but I don't know that they're choosing each other as like partners as much as they are choosing each other as resources.
Right. Exactly. I think I will say, I guess I've seen it there more than ever, but I've also seen more couples in LA, to your point, that have a strange power imbalance.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're whose son?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a reason you're willing to fuck this little guy, and it ain't because you just are taken with his size. There's gold in them little hills. You know what I mean?
But I think that much like a lot of the internet, I think they'll lift you up if you post a selfie. I think in the streets, I don't think it's really. Not that and I'm not sitting here saying short dudes can't get pussy. I'm short. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that at all. But is there like some like movement no, not at all.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's not this this transformation of culture that we're presenting. It's just a fun catchphrase that got passed around.
They be saying shit over there. Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Well, you don't mean that. So all that being said, I also want to say, I'm not going to say who this person is. If their email is to believe, if their sign off is to believe an intellectual, which I think matters.
Yeah, they hit us with a real a title.
I wonder about this because I'm trying to think of anything else that I have seen happen in this way to equate it to, and I really don't have anything.
Like equated to in what sense?
Like like if two redheads get together, they're gonna make a brunette. Or I don't have anything else to be like, well, that's true. You know what I mean? It feels
Right.
kind of singular in my mind.
Yeah, I've never bred animals or anything, so I don't really I can't be like, oh, if you mix that with that, you're gonna get a little one. But if you mix that with that, then you get a big one.
I
I
will
will
say these
say,
days the odds are pretty good that you're gonna have a fat kid.
yeah, and even if they weren't always fat, you can make them fat pretty easy.
Yeah,
I
it's not
think.
that hard to juice the numbers.
Yeah.
But there are distinct body types that travel through that don't like. My mom is thin and my dad is thin, but my aunt is like the only person in my family. My aunt and my grandma are big in the same way that I am, and it just
Mm.
like very like where you could be like, oh, that you could see where that came from.
You feel
You know
like
what I
you
mean?
just got your grandma's code, and that
Yeah, I
is,
think that's just how it is. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's just like, and my aunt got the same thing, but then none of my grandma had, I think, 11 kids. Nobody else, you know what I mean?
Whoa.
It's just kind of how that
It's just
went.
some weird recessive thing in your family line that
Yeah, in
pops
her
up every
family
once
line
in a while.
specific, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That just it's kind of how that went. So like, I don't know if I think that these things are that direct.
Mm,
You know what I
right.
mean?
That there's just a clear math that happens when you mix certain bodies. Is it's not
Yeah,
always going to equal the same thing. I
I
think
don't
I
think it's
agree.
always 1 + 1 is 2.
I think I
Although,
totally agree with that.
yeah,
My daughter, I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast. My daughter is like much darker than both my wife and I.
yeah,
And then
we call that the jackpot.
yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But then my son is like pretty much the same color as my wife and I. And so now I worry that my daughter in some ways is going to feel in, any like outsiderness in
Oh,
this
interesting.
relationship. But I don't expect it will be a problem. But I think with kids, you are constantly sort of worrying for their potential worries, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
even if it doesn't bother her, there's a part of me that has to worry that it will so that I can manage it before it becomes a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And that's interesting because did you even have any thought of that when you guys had kids? Like
Yeah, I
complexion?
mean, I had a bit about it years ago. It was on the special that like my fear of having a white child
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is pretty active, and yeah, that terrified me, sort of being, that Alfonso Ribeiro fully white son with a black dad that felt crazy as a concept.
Yeah, like logic. Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about complexion in that I would want my kids to be this dark, but I understand especially it comes with its own bag of problems
Mm,
for like for a boy, right? You understand how dark skinned boys are treated in school and with the system, and like I've seen all that. Like I hate school, I hate teachers because of a lot of that bias type stuff. And then with women, it's very difficult. So I guess that's why I don't have no kids, man.
yeah, but I think the beauty is I think that you are equipped, they are equipped to both handle it and to empower them inside of it. You know what I mean? Like, it
Right.
doesn't have to be something that like, oh man, this is a hard life, you fear this, whatever. It's like, no, this is dope, this is beautiful, this is who you are. But you also, the hard part is sort of creating the equipment ahead of time to be able to articulate all that stuff and not on the fly when it comes up because your kid came home hurt from things that were said
I
or,
mean, that's fair because I think that like to put a bow on it, I was just gonna say that for me, it is like one of my favorite things. And if this kid is a part of me, I don't understand why they have a similar wouldn't be able to find their way to a similar feeling about it.
yeah. I think all you can do as a parent is help them to find that level of like sort of peace, pleasure, whatever inside of themselves.
Right.
And you just know because you're fucking old and burnt out that it's real hard to find that peace and pleasure. You got to really earn that shit.
Right. All that being said, I do not believe in, and maybe this is just me personally, I don't believe in having these things limit you from finding a partner.
Yeah,
Like,
if you are
like that
a big
seems
old,
crazy to me.
if you're a big old thick guy out there and you find the little lady that you think you're supposed to be with, don't let this deter you.
Yeah.
Your daughter may come out big, and that's okay. And there's nothing to fear inside of that, especially if it means taking away your own happiness.
Also, unless you're a piece of shit, you're probably gonna love him regardless.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're like a bad guy, what are you gonna be like? I don't like my small son. You'd be fine.
I think if you say it like that, I can see why you don't like them, but I think maybe stop calling him your small son and just focus on the relationship.
Yeah, call him Derek.
Don't call him Derek. His name is Isaiah.
And teach him how to wrestle. Get him into small guy stuff.
Yeah.
Teach him how to hang out under a bridge or whatever little guys do.
Get him working in HVAC. He can get up in them vents. And
Come on.
He can
teach him a lot of limericks and have him and have him keep people from crossing bridges.
Riddle me this. Riddle me that. Answer Derek's question and you'll walk your way back. No, there's no. You don't have to fear big women. You don't have to fear little men. We are all just bodies, and we contribute so much more than the bodies that hold us have to offer. So,
and everybody is capable of happiness, man. Truly.
Yeah. Well,
that
I don't know.
Feels like we didn't do a bad job.
No, I think we did something. I don't know that there's much more we can say about this other than
I think you did great.
Keep believing in yourself. So yeah, we know we didn't throw in a break. We probably should have. I don't even know how long we've been recording because I'll be honest with you, I didn't press record until 9 minutes ago. But the important part is that we inspired these people to love each other and to love themselves more. And I think that's great.
That was great. I think we did it. I think this was a positive one.
Gborie, do you want to tell the people where they can find you? What cool shit you have going on?
Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram. Patreon.com/David Gborie, Gborie. Go buy my special, Birth of a Nation. I got a bunch of other silly videos on there. Just made a video about the boats this week. Is it good? Come see me live on tour.
Okay.
It was glad. Weird. It's like I had a lot of ideas. You know, when you're learning a new skill, like shooting and editing, you have a lot of ideas about black and white and Sheila E. songs and narratives and no words and subtitles. And sometimes it makes delicious stew. Sometimes it makes doo-doo. But come see us. New York, Philly, Boston, Texas, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. Denver. We're halfway through, baby. Come see us on this tour. I mean, by now you guys know rave reviews. We shut it down in LA. We shut it down in Chicago. The New York show was crazy. I can't believe Giuliani showed. That was weird.
Hey, and in ink face, no less.
Yeah, it was odd. It was odd. We didn't love it, but we didn't hate it.
Yeah. Come see us on tour. That would be phenomenal. We would love for you to be there, and follow me at Langston Kerman on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I suppose. I don't really be over there, but do that. And follow our TikTok, the My Momma Told Me TikTok, and follow the YouTubes. The YouTubes are now popping every week. We want more subscribers, more money, more of that sweet bacon meat money that we keep accumulating on this podcast. So follow there. And if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories, if you want to tell us what combo you need to make two medium-sized children with no discerning qualities, send it all to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, donate, call your senator. Call your senator's side piece. Bye, bitch. My Momma Told Me is a production of Will Ferrell's Big Money Players Network and iHeart Podcasts.
Created and hosted by Langston Kerman.
Co-hosted by David Gborie.
Executive produced by Will Ferrell, Hansani, and Olivia Aguilar.
Co-produced by Bay Wang.
Edited and engineered by Justin Connor.
Music by Nick Chambers.
Artwork by Dogon Krieger.
You can now watch episodes of My Momma Told Me on YouTube. Follow at My Momma Told Me and subscribe to our channel.